Well, I don't think I've ever told anybody this. This was at Immaculate Conception School in Tulsa, and we had a nice little church, and I used to sneak into the church when nobody was around. But I would turn the organ on, and I would play Beatles music and Rolling Stones music on the church organ. And one day I was in there, and I got caught. One of the nuns that was the music instructor walked up behind me, and it scared the tar out of me.
Sure.
And she was just looking at me like, "What do you think you're doing?" I told her, "Yeah, I just, like making music, and, I don't have a musical instrument, and I didn't probably think I'd ever have one." She kind of grinned and said, "Well, you shouldn't be in here, so you probably shouldn't be doing this." But she understood, and so I play all kinds of music. I play indie rock. I play, hard rock, heavy metal. Just making the sounds and making music. It's very soothing, very very rewarding, very relaxing. Okay, hi. I'm Sydney's granddad. I'm Mike Trostle, and I'm 70 years old.
What would be the time frame you think that you've played guitar?
Maybe 55 years, going on 60 years. And I guess it started back in 1957. I was 6 years old when I first saw the Everly Brothers on black and white television. And they played these two great big black Gibson acoustic guitars, and I thought they were really cool. They had their hair slicked back, and they had these black jackets on, and they were pretty sharp. And I thought, man, one of these days I'm going to grow up and I'm going to do that. My father, your great-grandfather, John, was a professional musician. He was a trumpet player, and he tried to teach me many times how to play trumpet, and I just never could do it. And I always told him I wanted to be a drummer. I could always play drums pretty well, and I used to make drum sets out of pots and pans and boxes and cereal boxes and anything that would make a noise when you hit it with a stick. When the Beatles came out, I used to go down to Jenkins Music Store there in Tulsa and look at the guitars. I'd look at the prices, and they were, $400. And I thought, I'll never be able to afford that. Up until the 70s and 80s and 90s, basically what I did was just listen, and still, always wanted to play and I wanted to learn, but never had really the opportunity or the motivation, I guess. In 2000, that's when you came along, and about 7 years later, I remember you saying that you told your mother that you wanted a guitar for Christmas. Then I was really interested in guitars again, and I thought, boy, I'd like to have one myself and learn to play so I could help you learn to play. And then I realized that you were the inspiration and the motivation for me to start learning to play. And I went out and I bought my first real guitar of my very own, and that's the one that I thought, well, one of these days I'll pass this on to one of my grandkids. And then, of course, the more grandchildren I had, the more guitars I needed, and that's why we have this little collection back behind me. I feel very, very special to be able to have this collection. It means a lot to me because I spent my childhood thinking that I would never be able to have something like this. So that's I guess what got me thinking about, passing on my legacy to my grandchildren. And I think it is genetic because, as you know, your cousin Colton is a pretty darn decent trumpet player. Caleb is a pretty darn good trombone player. Uncle Kevin always showed an interest in playing drums. Your mother and Aunt Bean, they were extremely interested in music and dance. And even beyond that, Allegra is taking piano lessons, and you, of course, have performed on stage. It's very rewarding for me to see that you learn to play, and that Colton and Caleb play, and Allegra. I guess I can hope that AJ someday learns to play something and develops an interest in music. But yeah, I just hope that all of you maintain some type of interest in music, whether you play or just listen to it or enjoy it. So, I think music is very good for the soul. It's good for people. Is that a wrap?
Yeah.
Well, that was fun.